Okay, unmute. Could you hear me?
Okay, here you go.
I hear you. I hear you.
Recording is not subject.
Okay. Parents, is anyone there? I see you. I see Rabbi Greenwald. I see Chaim Tzvi Lieberman. Okay, very good. You got the copies? Oh, I see Rabbi Chanovich. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, L'chaim. What happened was I went this morning to the Berkshires because there was a grand opening for a Beis Chabad in Lenox, mamish down the road from Tanglewood. A gorgeous Beis Chabad, 22,000, I'm sorry, 22,000 square feet. There were 700 people here this morning. It's unbelievable to see what Shluchim are accomplishing. Remarkable. So first, L'chaim. So what happened was I was here longer than I figured if I'll be on my way back. So how are we going to do the Shiur? So I decided I'll stay here for the night till we could Zoom together, and then tomorrow morning I'll come back to New York. L'chaim. You hear this? The shliach had security at the door, and when there was 700 people, they couldn't let any more people in. The Eibush shall help from the Mitzvah Shem, when we make our Chanukah Sabayis, we should have the same problem. The shliach gave wine from Koish al Baraka for everybody. So I'm going to pour a little bit of wine. And we should go from one beautiful inauguration, Chanukah Sabayis, to another one. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagofen. L'chaim v'livrocha. Okay. So sitting in the beautiful Berkshire Mountains. I got Vurcha that this place is beautiful. So the Eibush shall help that the shliach here should have tremendous atzlocha, and the mitzvah we should have a tremendous atzlocha finishing to build by us. Okay, let's read quickly. וישלח מלאכים על בילום מבאר פסוירה אשר על נור ארץ בני עם לקרוא לאמר הנה עם יוצא ממצרים והנה כיסס אין הארץ ויושב ממולי. What happened was that Balak ben Zippor, the king of Moav, sent shluchim to Bilam, and he said, Hine am yotzam Mitzrayim. Behold, a nation went out of Mitzrayim. Number one. Number two, Hine chises ein haaretz. Behold, he covered the eye of the haaretz. As Rashi is going to say, Sichim ve'oig that were guarding us, they killed them. And number three, V'hu yoshev mimuli. He's sitting right here. And like Rashi says, Korev lachriseini. So therefore, next pasuk, V'ata lacho, no orally samazeh. Number one, he's asking that he should curse the nation. Ki otzam hu mimenu. Number three, ulay uchal nakeboy. Number four, and then v'agashenu min haaretz. Maybe I could be nakaboy, I could hit him, v'agashenu, and I'll chase him away from the haaretz. And he concludes, Ki yadayte es asher tavarach mavarach v'shator yor. They told him the words of Balak. The Eibush says to Bilam, who are these people? Balak ben Zippor melech Moav sholach elai. That Balak sent a message to me. And what was the message? Number one, Hine Oma Yoitzim Mitzrayim. Number two, Vechasen Haaretz. Number three, Ata L'Chaveli Yoisei. Number 4, Ulay Uchal Elochem Boy. Number 5, Vegirashti. Emel Kim Al Bilam Nebshat Bilam Loy Say Lechemam Loy Say Oretz Am Kivaruchu. When you notice that there is something very different between the words of Bilam, when Balak sends to Bilam, and then when Balak holds over the words to the Eibush, it's very, very different. So the Rebbe says in Pshutim Shemikar, you could say that the pasuk is Mekatzer, but Rashi does make a deal out of it, and he explains out of 8 differences, 2 out of the 8 differences. Rashi says, "Am yotzim mitzrayim, im toime mama zikcha." So what do I care? Hine chisasen oret sichem v'oig she'Hashem l'maisonu omdum aleim v'arogum. Sichem v'oig, as Rashi says in Chukas, that all the people from Canaan were paying them taxes for them to guard them. So now that the Jews knocked out Sichem v'oig, what's going to be? We're terrified. Mimuli means they're sitting right in front of me. What does it mean in front of me? They're very close to cut me. Mimuli is like the word ke'amilam in Tehillim, Kuf Yud Ches. Nakaboy ani v'ami nakabohem. Davachav lo shamishnahu menakalo minagon manadomim. It's a loshon that we find in the Mishnah. Lechasa mehem ma'at. Rashi says later. It says kavli zukoshem orali shonoikev mefarish begirashtiv min ha'olam ubalak loy omer ela v'gershen nu min ha'oretz. Balak only said, "I'm going to get rid of him from the land." Anyway, bakasher lasiyam eloy. I only want to get rid of from me. Ubilam Yisayim Yosem Balak Bilam hated them more. Got it? We're together? We're on the same page? Okay, good. So we see Dr. Rebbe that Rashi does take into account the different why in the words of Bilam to the Eibishter, he doesn't say over verbatim, vort favort, of what Balak told him. He changes it. But Rashi only mentions 2 out of 8 changes. The Kliyokor and the Orachayim also point out that there is 7, 8 nafkaminas. But they learned the Pshat just the opposite of Rashi. Just the opposite of Rashi. Let's read the first the Kliyokor and then the Orachayim HaKodesh. By the way, this week is the Yortzeit of the Orachayim HaKodesh. That's why by Mincha Shalashudis I told over a story about the Orachayim HaKodesh. Do you know that they say the Orachayim HaKodesh, he had only daughters. And he used to learn with the girls, he used to learn with them Chumash. And the girls had questions. It's not like, Lomdisha questions, but they had questions like girls ask different questions that, and he put together all the questions and the answers, and that's the basis of the Orachayim HaKodesh. Hest? Interessant. Okay. So the Kliyokor and Orachayim are both very Gishmaki Pirushim, very much al derech hadrash. So the Kliyokor starts Ata l'cha orali bilam amen el Hashem yisbarach shesholach lebalak l'cha kavli mashpila shirashi shekava kosher meora ubilam hoisef medaita mesenosas Yisrael l'chen girashtim kosher min hagershenim meora. It's ein ze maspik. This is not a good enough shot. Ki lo yoda bilam shelakim oyev Yisrael. Did Bilam not know that the Eibishter loves the Jewish people? By adding to the Eibishter and saying that Balak asked for more bad for the Yidden, it'll be worse for him. Kishema kulahai lo yitnu lo yirishus. Maybe the Eibishter is not going to give him so much yirishus. Val balakosh echa niver medas kol kach kemetchil am alacha orli v'le neter loy shenema ki mein Hashem l'site la Elohim v'achkech later in the story he says l'cha kovali v'chi mi shein roitz litan lo afilo dover kotan l'choyze v'shoyel dover godol. It doesn't make sense. If you're going to say, according to Rashi, the Rashi says that a kava is kasha miyora. So in the beginning, Balak asks for ora, and later he asks for kava. It doesn't make sense. And lavada, I know she'ora kasha min kava. the curse of Ada is worse. Veloshen nake koshem in loshen lilochem. Veloshen agershenim in oretz koshem in gerashtiv. Ki loshen kova ein loshen klala. Kova doesn't mean klala. Sherei nemar nok valai sechorich. El shu noikev mefarev. Oshois bahem chur koten meloshen vayikev cher bedalze. That the lashon kavali means to make a little hole. Aval ora kosher. Ora means a curse. It's the worst. Ki boy klola by nido is the gemara says shvus. V'chein lelochem. Eni kol kachera behechel ki shloichim de lahatzel tzatz melavad. Aval naka umaka mamesh. V'chein gerashti mashma legarshi rak me'alov. Alav garshenim in ha'oretz mashma mikol ha'olam. So he's teaching at least three other things that Bilam said to Eibishter that fakert. Bilam tried to minimize v'zeyetuditz ki Balak lo yedei shelikim oyev lahem kol kach al kein por piv levilti chok. Balak was a dumbbell. He didn't realize that Eibishter loves the Yidden. So he opened up a big fat mouth. Por piv lebli choik v'shal orderly ulei uchel nakaboy v'gershenim in oret lehane kolil kulam agershenim in olam ubilam yoda sheleheim oyev lehem upshita shemin hashamayim yakvu v'layala beyoda loizev v'loizeh. Bilam was a smart guy. Al kein amar lefnei kadosh baruch hu shabalak ein shol kim litchoisem alov. Kim yavoy lelochem was yavro b'lo totzer es moyev. V'dinu shetochel ksas klola lokov cher bedelte lechasmem kemaat. Kachamar, because Bilam was a Navi, and he knew that the Eibishter told the Yidden not to bother Moav. He's there not listening to you. You told them not to bother Moav, and they're bothering Moav. So they deserve a little bit of curse. I know you love them, they're your children, but it's a little bit of knip. So there's a place where a little bit of a klola could be chal. Shetachel ktsas klola lokov cher bedaltze lechasem emadl. Kachamer. Ki Balak sholach elav kovel liyoisei. He lied to the Eibishter. He thought the Eibishter doesn't know and he could lie. He lied to the Eibishter. He said Balak only asked for a small thing. So come on, such a small curse, even though you like the Eden, let's go with it. גדולה וקל וחומר קובע קטנה שהם בו כוח לאכל כנגד חוזק הברכה כשרוב בולק של הנטל על השאלה הגדולה ומין turn the page השמיים יעקפו מליל חימר חוזר לקטנה ואמר להפוך את לכל קובלי כי לא יודע מה שאמר השם לבילם כי ברוך הוא כי לא היגד בילם לשאול חברה כי מאין השם לסיתי להלכם אוכם וחושב שם בבוזה יעקפו כי כשייסי לשאול too much לקח שאול afterwards Shaila Ketana, Shaila Bilam, immediately Balak Malay basic Ketsav Lucha but it's Pesha Malakalas Ketana Gedela, like Koba Ketana Valayara Gedela. Boila Lagdem, Gedela Lectana, but there is Zuavzu, and they lidik mene davki, they shall Yuchalasas. Ha, im Hoya Dova Biacholti, East Yoise, Loizoktana, Fila Gedela, Chain Heriki Kolman Zimis Lavavera. So be a posik Batalacha. במילס ואתה רוצה לנסויסים, יש ביודי לאור כל זמן שירצה, שמתחי ואמר שאני צורך לעמת מעשר כשבורך וכויס, אין בי ממש כשם על יחס כלי המלאלו, כמו שקוסם מאזם לא יזום השם, כמו אורלי לרצויני בזמן שאף אני, אורי יסם שמסורים ביודי, אוי לי שלא ידע דו ושמודם כמני, ולאכל שהאוילם יחשבו שאני אוכל באמס נקה בשנינו, אני ואתה, ואחר כך גשן אני לבדי. ואומר לושן אולי על עצמי, כי אני סופק מוכל. אבל אתה ודאי, כי בצירוף חוודאי נקה, לכן אמר אולי יוכל נקה בי, כי ידעית שמבורך מבורך. לא אומר יבורך כדרך שאומר יורל, ושאומר לדווקא בכלולס יש לקוח, ולא בברוכס. כי אשר תבורך כבר הוא מבורך, ואתה רואה זה בהצטגנינו שלי. ואתה מבורך כדי ליטלס בך, למלוי כן, כשזרת שיחה ניסה מקל למוי ולמה ברכת לשיחה, נבד שאין לך כוח בברוכס כן בכלולס, לבעלי על ההשכס כירוע שהם בילם, לכן אני מבקש ממכו, ולכלולה ולא ברוכה שתפרחני. He's saying a zeitige Sach. He's saying that even the Goyim, they didn't believe that Bilam has a koyach gebroches, and nicht kein Rebbe. Even the Goyim verstanden as Bilam and nicht kein Rebbe. Kein Rebbe is a nicht. Kisharam get a nicht. They just thought that he's good in giving curses, but not in giving blessings. Okay. He didn't ask him, give me, Yishmol b'ni barcheni. He said, all he figured he could ask is because the Goy can give him klolos, not brachas. Okay. Let's do the Orachaim HaKodesh. L'chaim, l'chaim. Hine am tzarech das ma lama shine v'divrei Balak Balak am ki hine am yot am yotza v'omer hine ho om hayoytza. Number one. Number two, Balak omer hine chisa v'hu omer vayichas. Number three, Balak omer ve'ata v'hu omer ata. Number four, Balak omer ora v'hu omer kav. Number five, Balak omer nakaboy v'hu omer le'nochem boy. It's five differences, but really there's more differences that he said. Balak said v'yeshemamuli, and he didn't say it. And also Balak said v'garshena min haaretz, and Bilam said v'gerashti. Okay, so there is a lot of differences. V'yizbor al pi divrei zal. Shamru Shabilam Tobedait Kirshdover Nelam Hashem Chaz v'Shalom. He thought that if the Eibishter knows, as if Mezakt, Ruba de Ruba für the Eibishter de Welt, Rachmon al-Itzlan. Ruba de Ruba für the Eibishter de Welt. But he thought that Rachmon al-Itzlan, the Miuta is Nelam Hashem. V'toh Mimaimer, Mi Anoshim Ha'ele Imach. The Eibishter asked him, who are these people? Doesn't the Eibishter know? So he made a mistake. Hine, V'agam Shepirash Naboy Derech Acher, he thought that the Eibishter doesn't know exactly what Balak told him, so he's going to change the words of Balak. He knew that the Am Bnei Yisrael, the Eibishter loves them. And the miracles of Mitzrayim is Machiach. Lachen shena v'ama hine ama yoytzak yidua kitziz Mitzrayim v'futzemes t'chol ha'olam ha'yosef. V'loshen zayin nishbim by Mashiach Pirish v'mayim hine am yotza shezeh yagid oivus bilan. He tried to say hine ama yoytzak Mitzrayim kilo a compliment to the Yidden. Like they do in the Middle East before they stab him in the back. They smile and they give you a big compliment. Like they know how to do in Saudi Arabia and all over the Arab world. Verstehst? גם אמר ויחס ולמה הנה כיסה מטעם עצמוי להסתיר הדובר הנשמע מיועס שהוא סוינה כניסה לכן אמר הנה שיעור הידוס היפך מה שברצוינה וידיעס בישראל ואומר ויחס פירוש שמדיע טעם הפחד שבולק כרבו ואומר עטו לחוקובה תסכוון לובה בתיינה שדין עם בולק בדובר זה שכם שקדש ברוך נוסע לסול אמה ממויל עדיין לא הגיע הזמן הנסינה והדין אימי ללוחם בלגרשי Voimer Ata Pirish Bisman Azeh Kovid Lilochem Boy Ligorsham Elai Ata right now. With the Fizeh Yesh Tam Bishina Tevis Ata Shim Hoyo Omer Ve'ata Nishma Kamayhem Shechma Shekodam Lo Niskavalat Tainas Azman Shech Lilochem Boy Imoy Boy V'gam Shina Kovein Loi Kavanosa Shel Bilam Sheyorer Om Stam Shoz Yimo Shechara Lam Ben Berech May Ben Berech Umas Ali Farish בפירוש בילם שאין מערער אלא בערך מחמס מויב שישראל מוקונים לפני המואב לחדיקת קובה לי פירוש שיפרש הכלול שבערך מויב וגם שינה בממור ללוחם בוי במוקם מנקה בוי למשנה חפש לעשה אירוע לסגור במלחמה לא מונה מארצה כך שינה ורם בגירה שתיב ובולקם מן האורץ אולי בולק נסכם לגורש מן האורץ ידוע שנס נשם Lohem, Kishikona Yiru Malos and Orts, Bilam Hosh Lamtik Latam Divri Bolak, Enema Bakish, Ella Noasats, Matana Nishmas, Venem Yobi Israel, Lachen Hish Matevis Minorits, Bonnie Kirash, the Pirushi Grishanamelo. I'm sorry, it's tedious, but there's 8 nafkaminas. So, and the Kliyok and the Erchaim each saying a slightly different thing, but the bottom line of what they're saying is, sorry, it took so much time to go through the details. Bottom line is he's saying that Bilam was a clever guy. Bilam thought that the Eibishter loves the Yidden, so how is he going to ask the Eibishter to Chas v'Shalom curse the Yidden? So he was trying to minimize. He thinks he's going to trick the Eibishter. First, the Eibishter doesn't know exactly what Balak asked. He's going to minimize and justify it. It's not fair. The Jews are not listening to you. You said not to conquer Ammon and Moav. And Kilu, the Eibishter doesn't know. And they lied to the Eibishter that Kilu, they're a little bit, they are conquering. And trick the Eibishter to allow him to give a little bit of a klala, and then maybe from a little bit will become a lot of it. That's the way the Ohr HaChaim and that's the Nekuda Klolis, and then there's the 8 details of how they mefarish every lashon. Of the 8 differences between of what Balak said to Bilam and the way Bilam repeats it to the Eibishter. But obviously Rashi doesn't hold that way. And the shaila is why? Rashi learned Moshe Kapoyer. First of all, why can't Rashi just say that whatever, the words are a little different, it's a kitzer loshen, it's a shinui loshen, but obviously Rashi thinks in Pshuto Shamikra you could be medayik and ask why are the words different from when Balak sends the message to Bilam and when Bilam tells over his words to the Eibishter. But Rashi learns that fakert, that the Bilam made it worse. Why? But l'chayr the Rechaim and the Kliyok are right. How dumb did he think that Rebbeinu Shalom is? So, Rachmana litzlan, to say, right? He thought he can trick the Eibishter, but how much? So that's the Nakuda of the Rebbe's Shaila, to understand what's the Pidush in Rashi. So what's the Nakuda, the answer? The Rebbe says Nakuda, the answer is like this. L'chayr, there's a pashta kasha that a child should ask. A child who's paying attention when he's learning the Chumash is going to pick up his hand. Rabbi, Yechoba kasha. Why is Moav getting so bent out of shape? The Eibishter told the Yidden not to conquer Ammon and Moav. Not only the Eibishter said that, but if they're looking with their eyes, they could see the Yidden are traveling around. Vatikzer nefesh ha'om badorech, we learned last week in the Parsha. That's where they were complaining, because instead of going directly into Eretz Yisrael over the Jordan, they're going around and around and around Edom, Ammon, Moav. They're going further away from their destination. So why are they getting bent out of shape that the Jews are going to conquer them? Don't you see that the Jews are going around you? Don't you see that the Jews are going around you? So you could say that they saw that the Jews conquered Sichon, and there were parts of Sichon, like we said, that there were parts Ammon and Moav tiru b'Sichon. There were parts that belonged originally to Ammon and Moav, and Sichon conquered it, and now the Yidden were allowed to capture it. So, they're capturing a part of a land. Maybe they're going to capture a whole land, but why would they think that way? They know that Sichon conquered it. And when they conquered Sichon, they conquered also the parts of Sichon that he originally took, the Melech Moav Arishan. So again, in Pshuto Shamikra, a child is going to say, Hu Yoshev Mimuli, Lachriseini. Why are you getting bent out of shape? Don't you see they're going around? So the truth is, Rashi says that in last week's Parsha, that Sichon and Og, when the Yidden said, please let me pass through their land, they said, are you crazy? All the nations in the Middle East are paying me taxes that I should be the gatekeeper, that did not allow the Yidden to come in. You think I'm going to let you go through? So now that Ammon and Moav saw that the Yidden knocked out Sichon and Og, so now they're nervous. Maybe they're going to come back to capture Ammon and Moav. But even that, ich verstehe nicht, sagt der Rebbe. Meile, the Goyim are dumb. The Goyim are dumb. Okay. Makkah's dumb. They're dumb. But a Navi, Bilam is a Navi. Bilam knows that the Yidden are not allowed to conquer the land of Ammon and Moav. So when Balak sends him a message, I'm very nervous. So why doesn't Why doesn't Bilam pick up the phone and say, "Hello, Rebbe Balak, Hosnish v'Samoyrahab"? I know directly from Shemayim that the Eibishter said that Al Totzer is Moav. You're not allowed to conquer Moav. Why didn't Bilam tell him you have nothing to be scared of? Make sense? The Shaila? Chaim Tzvi, you hear the Shaila? A simple Shaila. A child is going to say, why are they getting so nervous? They're getting bent out of shape. Moav is nervous. Why are they so nervous? You see the Jews travel all the way around the land and didn't bother you. True, Rashi does say that the Jews were stealing things from Moav, but they were not conquering them. So what made them be scared? Because they were dumb goyim. Okay, they were dumb goyim, they were scared that just like Shoyl Moisim, that they'll come conquer them. But the Navi, Bilam, who knows that the Yidden are not going to conquer Moav, Al Totzeres Moav, why didn't he tell the king of Moav, Balak, don't be scared, the Yidden are not coming against you? Oh, what's the answer? Muslims sagen that Balaam hated the Yidden, moide de gefährlich. There's two types of Sina. There's the Sina of Balak. Balak was a stama dumb guy. He thought that the Eden want to encroach on his land. They want to take away his land. He's scared that the Eden are caught of lahachrisaini. But Bilam knows the truth, that the Eden are not going to be doing milchama against Moav. But he hates the Eden. He would love to curse them. He would love his sinah is mevatzvetzet. It's a sinah that has no reason. There's no reason. There's the people that hate the Jewish people. It goes from the right and from the left. Oto chara. Says the Zal Bazach. From the right, from the left, like the Rebbe's father said, Kuloi sog yachad nalochu ein oisei toiv ein gam echad in kapitel Samach Gimel and Tilim. He said Sog is Stalin and Hitler. Stalin and Hitler, the right and the left, they all hate the Jews. It's the same thing. It's the Zolbazach, there's no difference. The Ku Klux Klan and New York Times, Hainu Hach, there makes no difference. The Strumer and the New York Times is no difference. There's a different ownership. This is the Saltzman family, and this is Mr. I forget his name, Sturmbach, whatever his name was, who owned the Strumer. The Zelbezach, it's the same chara. The Zobamaisis. But there is a difference. You know, Hitler Yamach Shemoy invited the Mufti of Yerushalayim to come see Auschwitz. You know that the Mufti of Yerushalayim was in on this whole thing of Rahman al-Sallah. You know, the Arabs, they claim to be such an, you know, like they were in on the Holocaust. There's pictures of the Mufti of Yerushalayim coming to visit Hitler. He was thrilled to try to figure out how to implement what Hitler's doing in Europe against the Yidden Rahman al-Islam in the Middle East. And Beroishu Bereshon in Eretz HaKodesh, Rahman al-Islam. There's a big difference between the Arabs in Israel and the Europeans. The Arabs were scared that the Yidden, they wanted to have the Eretz HaKodesh, and they're nervous that the Yidden are going to take over Eretz HaKodesh. That's like Balak. The Europeans are Bilam. The first anti-Semite, which was Mamish, an anti-Semite, Lishma, hated the Jews for no reason. The Jews are not coming against them. He knows the Jews are not going to conquer Moav. But a Machta Shvaig, he doesn't want to tell the people of Moav, don't worry, They think Yisrael Alecha. It's not true. But he keeps his mouth shut because he hates the Jews. He hates them without a reason. And he can't hide it. Like the Frierdiker Rebbe says, Chochemahu Oimer. How do you know if a person is a Chochem? Oimer. When you hear him speak, you can hear who he is. You can hear who a man is when he speaks. You can see if he's a Chochem or Typish. Like the Mishnah said in the we learned this week, Shiva Dvarim Chochem, Shiva Dvarim by the opposite of a Chochem. You hear right away he speaks. So Rashi says that Balak, he hated the Jews, but there was understand where he's coming from. So therefore, when he said, for example, he said, Am Yotzam Mitzrayim. He's just trying to, first of all, he's talking about the past, and he's just trying to clarify who he's talking about. He's saying that I'm scared because Kisa saying it's in front of me. Bilam says, Ho'om hayoitze. He's not talking about a story, something that happened yesterday. These are nasty people. Ho'om hayoitze mimitzrayim. It's such a bad people. They're big mazikim. They're always mechasas ein oretz. Didn't say hine kisas ein oretz. Behold, that's what they did. They're always, wherever the Jews come, they become the doctors, the lawyers. They take over the whole land. Azed gesagt Stalin Yamach Shemoy, and FDR said, Ich verstehe. He's got a point. That's what Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, our good friend, whose house we purchased, and Emetz Hashem, we're going to turn it into a Beis HaKnesses, so he can turn in his grave, if there's anything left of his bones. I'm sure it's all ashes by now and worms. But Roosevelt said that he understands Hitler. Verstehst? So that's the difference. That Rashi must learn that Bilam said worse than Balak. Because the sin of Bilam, if you read the story, you realize that the sin of Bilam was much worse than Balak. Balak had a reason, a bad reason, but still a reason why in his mind he had a problem with the Jews. You know, in a way, the Europeans are beinerich worse than the Arabs in Gaza and in Hebron. The French and the English and the Goyim in Belgium and Lebanon, they stink much more than the ones in Hebron and in Gaza. This is like the difference of Balak and Bilam. Therefore, Rashi must learn in Pipshat that Bilam meant worse. It's not just because the word kova and ora, because you could shmei dre this way or that way. But just from the whole story, you see that Bilam was the quintessential anti-Semite. He was the anti-Semite. He was Harvard University. From the intelligentsia, the European intelligentsia. So therefore, Rashi learns that all the differences, Rashi only mentions two, because over there you can tie Chazor and Azor. So Rashi says Kaveh is kosher miora, and Gerashtiv means Gerashtiv min ha'olam. But all the other differences, Rashi assumes that the child will understand that you could see that the words of Bilam are much worse than the words of Balak. Okay, I mean, we spoke about the Shabbos. We have unbelievable chasodim of Hashem to thank the Eibishter. Poshet, the Rebbe's capital this year is Baruch Hashem Shalom Nesanon Teref L'Sheneim Nafshenu Ketzimra Nimluta Apach Yochim Batach Nishbar. That you have a guy like Erdogan in Turkey. Was hast du mit den Jiden? He had chaloimus, chazyonis, demyonis. He's spending billions, trillions of dollars, crippling his economy to build an army because he has chaloimus to go against Israel. Egypt is the same thing. Amit Namol, they give a look at Iran and they see what's going on in Iran. Sisosam v'simcha. Memachten de Hazen. Memachten de Hazen. Poshet. I don't have another way of saying it in English. Asisi machten de Hazen. and Erdogan machten the Hazen. And Erdogan thought he's going to have the big Ottoman Empire. Syria allowed Israel to fly over its airspace to attack Iran. Syria is now aligning itself. Nicht das als a große Tzaddik, this Mr. Giuliani, this Mr. Al Giuliani. But the miracles that are going on is mamish. They thought that they were going to devour us with their teeth. Our enemies mamish thought that they have us. It's mamish. The Rebbe's capital is so zugepasst for this year. I think the year of COVID, the Rebbe had a very long capital. Everyone was home. Sometimes you see the Rebbe's capital is so zugepasst for that year. It's noida oyam. I'm telling you. This year, it's Lulei Hashem Shahoya Lonu Bekum Aleinu Odom. Azai Chayim Belounu. They wanted to chew us up alive. Chayim Belounu. They wanted to Amayim Shetafunu. They wanted to throw over us Amayim Azaidoinim. But the Eibishter made a nes Shaloinish Tanonu Teref Lishinayim. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The Asayin Yisrael Machen and the Hazen. So what the Rebbe says, an unbelievable lesson from here. Moiradik. So pshat. So first let's pshat. Rashi could not learn like the Erachaim HaKodesh and the Kliyokor, because the whole story, if you look at the whole story, you understand that Balak hates the Jews like the Arabs in Gaza and in Hebron, like the Mufti from Yerushalayim. But Bilam, Bilam is like the French, like the English, like Stalin, like Hitler, like the New York Times. So therefore, Rashi had to learn that Bilam was much worse. He hated the Jews for no reason. Sagt der Eibishter, you hate the Jews for no reason, but I love the Jews for no reason. If there's no reason to love them, you have a little baby gemacht in the Hazen, so stinkt, but it's my baby. I love my baby. Don't touch my child. The Eibishter says, you hate the Eden without any reason, but I love the Eden without any reason. The Chazal said that from the bracha is me'ein klolos shebikas loim, that from the brachas we know what the klolos. Because the Eibishter said, "V'lo yova Hashem alakecha l'shmoel el bilam vayapach Hashem alakecha lako es haklol livrocha ke'ahevcha Hashem alakecha." So the Gemara says, from the brachas of Bilam, we know what the klolos were. So the Rebbe says the same thing here. Bilam hated the Jews, belitam v'das. So the Eibishter says, I want to show you that I love the Jews, belitam v'das. When we see today such sinas Yisrael in the Welt, we know that it's bringing out Mida Keneged Mida Vayafach Hashem Alakecha Lako, that Ahavti Es Chavamer Hashem, that the Ava from the Eibishter to Yidden is for no reason. Just like their sin is for no reason, the Ava is for no reason. And that's why we find that the Besura of the Geula Shlema is Dafke in Pashas Bilam, V'sham Niva B'Shem HaMashiach. Why? The Rambam says that the Chazal say, Ein Mashiach Ba'el B'Hesach HaDas. The Rambam Alter Rebbe says, L'mayla Mebchinas Das. It's Hesach HaDas. It's higher than Das. It's higher than Tam V'Das. The Rebbe says, this is the word. Mashiach is in higher than Tam V'das, so therefore the Besura Toiva that Mashiach is coming comes through Bilam, because it's Vayafach Hashem Lakecha. His hatred is the Jews is Bli Tam V'das, and the Eibishter says, I love the Jews without any Tam V'das. He doesn't have to be tall and handsome. He doesn't have to be rich. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be a great scholar. When I say tall, handsome, and rich, and I mean spiritually, the Eibishter says he's my child. That's why I love him. So that's that heipach mamish of Bilam. We have to see every yid the way the Eibishter sees every yid, and that's why that's why we have to have a Beis Chabad in every city, in every town, where we work on bringing this nakuda to every yid, that we love every yid l'mayla metam v'das. The Eibish is mahapach, the klola. We see anti-Semitism today is rearing its ugly head. The Bilam type of anti-Semitism. So we know from this that it'll be vayapach Hashem alakach lako, that we have to work on the hepach, that we love every Jew not because he's tall, handsome, and rich, not because of his moiridik spiritual milas, because he's a yid. That's it. Ka'hevcha Hashem alakach. Chaim l'chaim l'chaim. The Eibush shall help him, just like here in the Berkshires, the Matzliach to build such a beautiful Beis Chabad, that us too, we should be zeichet to build it l'shem, l'tziru, l'tiferes. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Bli neder, I'm going to bring back, I'll bring back a bottle of mashke from the Berkshires, from the Chanukah Sabayis of the Beis Chabad here. And Bli Neder will fabring by us either tomorrow night or Tuesday night, whichever one. L'kovid Yud Beis Yud Gimel Tamas. So we'll continue the fabring. L'chaim, l'chaim, a gute Nacht. You have a minion? Yeah? Oh, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Aaron, Yishkoyach for joining. Chaim Tzvi, Yishkoyach. Yishkoyach Rabbi Circus. Yishkoyach everyone for joining us tonight. A gute Nacht.